about Guardians of the Galaxy. One second, I'll pull up the Wikipedia so I can. I mean, I only watched over the last couple of days. So here's the interesting thing about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It's kind of like seeing somebody you were dating and used to be really, really into after you've broken up for quite some time, and they're still reasonably hot, but you're like, eh. It's like you don't really see why you were so madly into them. It's past its sell-by date, right? It's the yeah, it really is. It's anything they do to connect it to the MCU is where it's the weakest. I'll put up a poster of it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So this has just come out on streaming, right? And okay, keep in mind, I am not like a massive Guardians of the Galaxy maven. I know it through the movies, right? I do know it through the movies. So that's where Volume 3 is. It's certainly better than Volume 2, right? I didn't really understand quite a lot of it, but it's like it's past its sell-by date, and that it's actually been tainted by its association with Marvel, right? It actually that's why I think they avoid anything. So the second problem I have with this was this was not a feel-good movie, right? This was not a movie where can I just get the image? One second. What was it? View, copy, image, address. I'll just go doink. There you go. Fine. So can I make it bigger or smaller? That's it, cuts off there. Fine. So that's the first thing, right? It's better than Volume 2, but again, it's really past its sell-by date. It's really again, it's like seeing somebody you used to date and now you've broken up, and it's a couple of years later, and you're like, it's okay, but again, the spark isn't there. That's the first problem with it. The second problem with it is the point of the movie, which tells a very powerful anti-vivisection narrative, right? Which I think was actually pretty darn good, right? I agree with it in every way. Like I honestly, I do not see the need for all this animal testing, and there probably isn't, right? Like, honestly, I never thought about vaccines before listening to RFK, and it's like RFK's point is no, vaccines are okay, but like after we had the first couple, these next like 15,000 aren't tested in any way, and everybody makes a fortune by giving it away, and then we've had these weird effects happen to the society afterwards. So like, you know, it seems like the pharmaceutical companies are paying politicians off to make these things vital everywhere. Not saying all vaccine, but it seems to be the vaccine industry, right? So I never thought about it before RFK talking about it. So I never really thought about this vivisection thing, and I agree with him. But like I think there's probably a lot of animal cruelty going on for the worst reasons possible, which are I would say the banality of evil and evil itself, like people getting off on it. But it's that's the core of the movie, and again, it's told extremely well. But it's not fun, right? If you want a fun movie, it's not that, right? So it starts off. You see little baby Rocket when he's still a baby raccoon, right? They're so cute, and he's in a cage, and the bad man comes to go to grab one of them to do evil experiments on, which turns into Rocket, and it's heartbreaking and it's horrible, right? And it's why? But the villain of the piece I thought was excellent, far better than the guy who's in trouble right now. What's that guy's name? Where is it? Not Vin Diesel, not Bradley Cooper, not Will Porter. Sean, is this? Yes, whoever this guy is, Chuck Wendy EYG. He's fantastic. He's so good at this villain. He's very great at playing superior. Got great command of a voice. Where's he been in? I haven't seen any of these movies. Never seen any of these TV shows. Wizards versus Aliens. I can imagine being good in that. But he's got a wonderful voice, right? He has an absolutely wonderful voice. It was in Peacemaker. So he was the main guy, the handler in Peacemaker. Okay, fine. So he's fantastic. So he's the guy. He's a vivisectionist who's doing all these experiments, and his thing is, I want to make everybody better, make everything perfect by torturing these animals. So one thing I wanted to mention, which I completely forgot yesterday when I was going over this, doing this review, was one of the reasons I didn't find this an enjoyable experience was the Rocket Raccoon vivisection storyline. Most specifically, after he's augmented, he's thrown into a cage, and there's a few other augmented animals with him, and they form a little family, they form a bond. And every time I see them, I'm going like, oh no, is this where they die horribly? Which is just what I assume was going to happen as this motivation. No spoilers, but I found it all uncomfortable, right? That's the bottom line. I found it uncomfortable, which I think is what James Gunn was going for. But I want to watch a popcorn action Guardians of the Galaxy movie, right? I wasn't really... So for me... What I think James Gunn was successful in doing is what he wanted to do. I think it detracted from the overall story, my overall enjoyment of it. It depends how much you're dedicated to that sort of thing, how that affects you, if that's a fact for you. Now let me hand back to me from last night. And again, the disconnection from the rest of the MCU does it very well. So meanwhile, you meet Guardians of the Galaxy. And I have no idea what's going on, right? They're on this planet nowhere, and it was this set up in the second one. I don't know. I saw the holiday special. I don't understand how they got there. I don't really care, right? There's a whole... I like the universe that they make, which is like this weird kooky universe. You got this space dog, which are playing cards with Howard the Duck in this big game. I thought that was excellent, right? And it's just this weird, James Gunnian comedy sci-fi universe. And again, I like that. I think that worked very well. But Star-Lord is not doing good because, again, I've forgotten all this. But Gamora died, then came back without her memories, or before then, and she basically, this is a younger version of her, something to do with the snap, and she never met Peter Quill, Star-Lord, right? She never, and so she's got being evil still, right? So he's all broken up because they're basically broken up, and then this other guy has taken over the Finn from Yondu, and Karen Gillan is one of them as well now for some reason. As well, this weird woman, Ponku, whatever. Okay, it's weird, kooky times, right? Peter Quill is just going off the rails because he misses Gamora. Just at that moment, they are attacked by Adam Warlock, who I have no idea who he is, right? Who's super powerful and just rips the whole place apart. And it's quite a good fight sequence, right? Look, this is very cinematic. It delivers the popcorn crunch thrill, right? This definitely is a big summer holiday movie, which I'm happy to watch at home, quite frankly, on my big screen, which made my life much easier. So you have this big attack, and then he's very arrogant, and eventually gets driven away. There's a good subplot with the dog, by the way, where the guy with the fin took over from Yondu says bad dog to her, and the whole thing is saying, oh, please don't say I'm a bad dog, take it back. I say that's why I can't say bad dog to my dog. I just feel they hold that in for quite some time, right? So I did like that. So Adam Warlock is the son of something that was created super powerful, that was created by something much more super powerful called the Higher Evolutionary, which is the thing that created Rocket Raccoon, played by who is it again? Played by Chunky Wo, Chunk Wandi Iwuji, and he is fucking awesome. I honestly, I can't undersell how awesome he is, right? The Adam Warlock was a weak moment for the film. Yeah, and if he's a character that means anything to you, he didn't mean anything to me. So interspersed with this, you see the story of Rocket Raccoon. After he's been augmented, he's with these other animals that have been like augmented into like this freak show, right? And the story carries on. So Rocket Raccoon is mortally wounded, and they can't use the sci-fi medi kit because he's got some kind of like software lock on his, on his internal functions. So they have to go and find where they have files on him. So that's the first like mini quest. And so you get a lot more of the backstory. This guy called the High Evolutionary is trying to make these perfect societies, and gets to the point where he can just like put a hamster into a machine and bloom, and suddenly it evolves into like a humanoid, version of it. But it's insanely angry, and Rocket Raccoon works out how to fix that really easily. This drives the Higher Evolutionary absolutely insane. Now, like, how did Rocket work this out? That shouldn't have been possible, right? So that kind of consumes him for a while. Interspersed and trying to, so he's trying to get Rocket Raccoon in the current. Because he wants his brain to work out how he did that, and they're looking for Rocket the files on him so they can heal Rocket. Chris Pratt is effortlessly charming. He's not the star of the movie, right? I would say the first two movies he was definitely the front and center star. This is a much more of an ensemble piece. Sylvester Stallone shows up for a minute or so, which is kind of fun. He was reprising his role from the second one, and you end up teaming up with Gamora, who doesn't know anything about Peter. So you have all that, I think, quite good emotional stuff, like handling the loss of his Gamora, right? Like she describes the Gamora that Peter Quill knew and loved was a older alternate universe version of her, right? And that's basically what she is. So it's a little overlong at 2.5 hours, but again, there are some fantastic set pieces. There's a bit in the final reel where they do the walk going down the corridor before they take on the insurmountable odds, and it's essentially a one-shot, insane action sequence, kind of like that one from Kingsman where he kills the entire church, but I would say a little bit better than that. So that was good, and you do get a whole wrap up of the story for Rocket Raccoon. So and then the movie, by the end of the movie, they kind of wrap up everybody's storyline, right? They you see where everyone is now. I like the Karen Gillan is always great in everything. There's a lot about child trafficking in it, which is a little bit creepy, right? There's a big child trafficking subplot, which is really, really uncomfortable right now, especially that movie, The Sound of Freedom, doing so well. Oh man, that is so disturbing. That the opening scene to that. The opening scene to that is essentially this nice looking talent agent. This comes to see the father about this daughter and says, "Oh, she might be," has a catalog of children's stars. Says she may be good for the entertainment industry. We got a general audition tomorrow. Come on down. And she sees he's got a little brother. Bring your brother too. So the father brings him. And he goes and says, "Oh no, we don't let the stage fathers in. Come back at 7:00 and don't be late, right?" And then you see them like take pictures of them, and they kind of sexualize them in the picture, but not obviously like in the way that it would be. And then the father comes back, and you know what's going to happen? He comes back, and they're missing, right? They're gone. They've been taken, and it's like so many children being kidnapped right now for sex trafficking. It's absolutely horrific. So that whole subplot was really uncomfortable, right? Because again, if I watched it when it came out in the cinema, I would have missed that. David Bautista is, I think he tried to put on weight and look less fit during this. He just wasn't happy to be there. Carrington looks much better than she does on this poster for some reason. And Groot's always fun, right? Groot is always fun. But again, there's a lot of heart, a lot of family running through the core of this movie. It's past its sell-by date, right? It's over. The whole Marvel universe is over. This is over. It's like this. We're watching this after the breakup, which is basically what it is. What can I tell you? Yeah, it's not good. I mean, it's good, but it's not. It more reminds you why it's over, more than why it was good, right? Which is sad. There's nothing really else I can think to say about it. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.